Welcome, and it is another Talking Technical show. And thank you, first of all, for watching the show. We're doing this service once a week, and it's such a pleasure to be. And of course, we've got some nice requests and some nice shares to talk about it. But if we talk about the markets, especially the S&P 500, I mean, that's what we call, a friend of mine, he calls them a fantasy market. Nothing can go wrong. On our market, there was a little bit of a sell-off. Well, what do we call nowadays a sell-off? A 2,000 point drop on the index from a 64,000 high. So is that what we call a sell-off nowadays? Like I said the other day on Twitter, it looks like a correction only lasts for about 7 to 10 minutes nowadays. But let's kick off. Multi-choice, and that is a question from Sina. Sina wanted to know about multi-choice. And please, if you send through your requests, always say it's for the medium or the long term, because it just makes it easier for us to look at the chart. And this is a weekly chart of multi-choice. And Sina, if I look at the chart, there's a beautiful massive rally from September last year, from 85.75 to 140. Now it's almost like you can say hovering around here. I must say, if we can just have a look at this chart, I want to show you something here. That's the important thing, is this overhang resistance that is hanging here. And we can actually take this resistance back all the way to around here. And you will see there was also a resistance. And some guys will say, yes, Frans, but if you just look at this share, you can maybe see a possible left shoulder and a head and a right shoulder. That's not true, because the share only started at around 2019. So we haven't got that as a left shoulder. So sometimes we need to be creative in technical analysis, but not to the extent that it's above your imagination. But let's have a look at multi-choice. Sina, the big thing is this overhead resistance. We need to change this into a support. And this is waiting at 140.42. If we cannot move above 140.42, this stock can maybe consolidate here for a while. And the big thing that I'm looking out for is this line, and that is the support line. And that immediately brings us back to something that we can immediately see. We can see the stock is stuck in this consolidation. Now, what you usually find is if it breaks to the top here, people will say, yes, it is a beautiful flag formation. And why do they say it's a flag formation? Because you've got a beautiful rally. That is what I call a lamp pole formation, or a lamp pole. And that is the flag. And usually everybody will say, if it breaks above this 142.42, it can give us another move to the upside. So then we will talk about a continuation. For me personally, and all the shares I view nowadays in the sense of the market had one massive rally. I mean, we've seen one of the best rallies in the world in the last 12 months. So let's have a look here. That's the big one, 126.63. Below that, I think you don't need to buy the share. You must hold back so that it can pull back. Of course, if it breaks above that 140.42, it can be an extension of a nice rally. Let's have a look at Marafe. Melvin asked about Marafe. And Marafe is one of those tiny counters on the metals and minerals division. I mean, they're not that tiny. It's quite a nice mine. But if we look at the chart here, and this is a weekly chart once again, if I look at a few years back, let's have a look till 2017, it went as high as R2.10. I mean, then it started to plummet all the way, can you believe it, to a level of about 28 cents. But what I like about this chart now is, apart from the higher lows here, there's a low, there's a higher low, there's another higher low. What do we see? And this is the crucial point here, Melvin. I think, and there's the level. Can you see that resistance level that turned into a support? And there was the resistance. I just want to show you. The resistance was sitting at 59 cents. Now the stock moved above that. It came back a little bit, but it did not go back to that 59 cents level. It's finding support now. So for me, technically, while it is above this 59 cent zone, I will be positive on the chart, and I will believe that the chart can actually go even higher. My big resistance, my next resistance is this line, Just move that one there. Sorry. Let's get that one there. Yeah. My big resistance, next resistance is lying exactly at that point. So while it's above 59, I'm happy. And of course, if it goes above 81 cents, we can see another leg to the upside. And some guys will say, yes, Frans, but there's something interesting as well. And yes, there is something interesting. Have a look here. It is the first time in months that we're trying to see, what we're seeing here is a slow break to the upside out of this downtrend. And that's the important thing for me. It is this line. It can maybe swing upwards, but for me, the crucial point will be that 81 cents. And remember, even this stock, since January last year, it more than doubled off its price. And I know it's coming off a very low base. It almost tripled in value. Well, let's have a look at process. Leo is asking about process. I mean, this is most one of the darlings of the market. For many years, I mean, Naspers was the stern performer of the market. And here we're looking at process. Remember, it's unbundled out of Naspers. And I mean, the stock had one beautiful rally. Can you believe it? From 2020 January, now from 900 Rand to the other day, it was 1,950. I mean, that's 1,000 Rand of a rally in almost a year. So let's have a look here. For me, once again, I want to use this support line. That's quite important for me. There you are. I just want to draw it in. And remember, many months ago, I said if there's any going, if the hassle is going to start with the market, it will come out of the Nasdaq. And suddenly nowadays we see that the Nasdaq is struggling a little bit. And strangely enough, investors are flocking to value stocks. And they're a little bit worried about all these growth stocks that had this wonderful rally. Well, first of all, process still in a beautiful uptrend. Although it comes back, it tests the support line, it rallies, it tests the support line. We're back there again. The crucial point is, and Leo, if the stock can drop below 1,671 Rand 12 cents on a weekly chart. Remember, this is now a weekly chart, so you probably wait for a Friday close below 167.12. We'll suddenly see that this stock can go lower. And this uptrend, this beautiful rally, can maybe turn into almost, you can say, a correction mode where the stock comes a little bit under pressure. Well, let's have a look at Angloplat. Now, that is one of the stocks that, I mean, that is one of the darlings of the market. I can remember many years ago, everybody was so worried about the stocks of the platinum miners. Look at this rally, and I would like to show you that just the extent of this rally. I mean, this is 2016. This is once again a weekly chart. The low of Anglo Platinum was as low as 155 Rand. Okay, they were not on the brink of closing down, but I mean, there were stocks like Impala that was under huge pressure those days, Northern as well. Look at Angloplat here, from 155 Rand, it went up all the way. It had a correction last year when the coronavirus struck the world, let's say for 3 weeks in the markets. It came back and a straight line up from about 419 Rand, where it is now at 2,072 Rand and 86 cents. Actual fact, the other day, it was even higher. It almost went to 2,200. Well, let's have a look here. If you look at the chart, everything is still 100% intact. I just want to add something in here. And I want to show the viewer something that I've picked up with many stocks. And it's something that we maybe need to take note of. There you are. There you are. If you look at this company, I mean, apart from this beautiful rally, and I've mentioned this many a time on the show, the moment the share rallies way above 40-week moving average, or fall way below the 40-week moving average, there's a tendency that it always come back to, let's call, 40-week moving average. So if you look at the stock, beautiful rally, but the 40-week moving average sits at 1,390, and the stock is trading at 2,072 Rand. Still beautiful up, but a long way from there. in short and sweet terms, if you look at this company, the momentum is still up because what we see there, we still see a move above the other day's little tiny pullback, or I think it was last week's pullback. That low is at 2011 Rand. While it's above 2011 Rand, Knowles, momentum is clearly to the upside. Nothing is wrong with the chart. It still looks beautiful if you look at the stock. And I mean, look at these straight rallies to the top. And remember that it is driven by, let's call it, a very strong platinum price, a palladium price that's holding up. And remember, there's a little bit of inflation talk in the world that maybe can push this commodity stocks even further. For me, remember, take your note of this little line there, because if this line breaks, where's the next support? It can maybe just surprise us all. And I know we don't believe it nowadays, but the stock can maybe just pull back to this line. And this line sits at, and can you believe that? That sits at just above 1,630 Rand. That is a 600 Rand drop. A 400 Rand drop if the stock goes into correction mode. I mean, nothing wrong at the moment. The chart still looks fine to me. I will not add on to the position. I mean, after a rally from September from 1,900 to 2,100, that's almost doubled in price. I will not add to the stock. In actual fact, if it drops below that level there, I will take my profit and I will just walk away and just wait. There will be opportunities again in the market. The market had a beautiful rally, especially the platinum miners. Well, visit our website, www.fransdeklerk.com, for more info, and we will chat again.